Hello and welcome to our Astronomy Astro Hours. My name, for those of you who haven't been here before, is Dr. Pamela Gay. I am an astronomer, and tonight I'm going to work on some software for destroying planets. So my question for all of you is, do you have any questions while I get started and realize my lighting is really bad? Let me see what I can do about this. So push that one out of the way. I have a bright window behind me. Let me close the window. My lighting was fine 15 minutes ago, and then the sun had to go and move. So now I'm fighting the moving sun. Okay, looking back through the chat to see if there's anything in there. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So I've been working in a language called processing, and I'm going to go ahead and open up the code for where we are so far. I still am having really bad lighting issues. Let's see what I can do about this. You fix something and planetary rotation will get you every single time. There's that. I don't know if that helped. And there. Okay, we now kind of sort of have lighting until the sun moves yet again. So as I said, I'm currently working on destroying worlds. What I mean by this is there are planets out there that are orbiting extraordinarily close to their stars. And in the orbits they are in, they're dealing with some rather extraordinarily bad circumstances. I'm going to switch views. In our case, thank you, Uncle Bill. In our case, we have a star going around its sun. And when I do this to scale, it put it on my other monitor. Sorry about that, folks. So here is my to-scale model. Now, my to-scale model is kind of absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to say not entirely to scale is fine. And I'm noticing that my institute, I'm having one of these days where it looks like my OBS is just plain hating on me. Let me see if I'm using the wrong something. I don't appear to be. I can retype my host institution or just make it go away. There. You want to see pics of of the locomotive Noel's working on. Okay, let me get my little planet zipping on and off the bottom of what you can see. So in this particular to-scale model, it's like totally to scale, both in orbital size and in planetary size. And because it's entirely to scale, it's kind of zipping around in ways that aren't entirely useful. So I think the first thing I'm going to do while I'm coding to make this useful instead of useless is I'm going to find the planetary radius in here somewhere. Where am I setting this sort of stuff? So the way the software works is you set up a size, which is the size of your canvas. And I currently have it's scaled so that the star size is based on the size of the height, and the orbit is based on the size of the width. I'm going to go ahead and make this a bit taller as well. Not that much taller. Here we go. Not that you can see it. There we go. So currently I have a planet that is going around, and it's tidally locked in such a way that the green stick always points towards the sun. So as you see the perspective of the green star change, the green stick changing, that's to show how the planet is tidally locked. We have the planet shrinking as it moves further away. We have the planet growing as it gets closer. And I'm going to fuss with the width on this just so that we can see what's going on a little bit better. There. Now, do you guys have any questions out there? It looks right now like you're kind of talking amongst yourselves, which is totally okay. But I am always happy to chat back. I'm going to get some hot water for my tea. Some programmers have refrigerators of soda under their desk. I have a tea kettle beside my desk. There's never enough coffee, but yes, sometimes you do need tea, and more to the point, the tea kettle is beside my desk. Alrighty. Now the next thing I'd like to work on is trying to fix the coloration. So let me start by coming down here in my code and finding where it's adding the shading to the code. So here is the shading of the planet, and I'm going to start out by just removing all of this. Actually, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to create a routine to stick all this stuff in. Now, the way my software currently works is it calls these routines to draw the star, to draw the stick, to draw the planet. It calls them in a particular order depending on if you want the planet in front of the star, the planet behind the star. And it does this for when the planet is moving to the right and when the planet is moving to the left. Now, what I don't have is, let me get rid of all of, no, let me leave that. What I don't have is the shading being done in a standalone function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function that doesn't need to return anything. It just needs to do stuff. And the stuff that it's going to do is shade the planet. And it's going to take in a variable, which I'm going to make a float, which is going to be, I'm trying to figure out how exactly I want to name this. So the goal is I'm looking for something I have that is round. I have things in my desk that are round, and I always forget that. So I have worlds, they're round. And when the sunlight hits them, let me see if I can model this for you. I just broke my lamp. Excuse me a moment. Okay, note to self, don't ever grab lamp by light shade. Yeah, that's not going to work. I'm just going to move my lamp sideways. Okay, I'm going to do this with my iPhone instead. Yeah, REP. More to the point, REP, surface of light bulb. Okay. There we go. So you can sort of see, I think this is more evident on my side than on your side. Let me dim the lights. I have so much capacity. Hello, Dell. I'm currently trying to do a light demo, and my lighting is failing me. Okay, so the sun is off screen over here. Now, as my planet moves, or I'm actually going to have as my star moves, so right now, that's the dark side. As it comes around, wow, this really isn't working. So I'm going to forfeit. What I was trying to demonstrate, which really doesn't work, and my lighting is way better with no lights on except for the one. What I was trying to demonstrate is the lighting effects on a planet as it goes around and around its star. I completely failed. I can't do demos with shiny reflective Venuses. We all have our limits. I now know mine a little bit better. Okay. Welcome, Dell. The chat is so quiet tonight. So you can see that my planet is currently illuminated on the left, and only on the left. That's because I'm not changing where the planet is illuminated. So I guess I'm really worried about is my sun angle. So I'm going to pass into this a sun angle. And the sun angle determines how the star is illuminated. Not the star, the planet is illuminated. So if I have the, let me put in comments. Comments are a way of showing that you like yourself in the future. So sun angle equals the angle between the sun and planet on a clock as seen from above. 12 equals, I think in processing 12 equals 0. 6 equals pi. I'm hoping that's the case in processing. May have to update that. Yes, Dell, a brighter star can illuminate a dimmer star, which is just a little bit weird, but we actually kind of have a situation like that here in our own solar system. Jupiter actually gives off more light than it receives because it's such a hot ball of gas that it has to radiate away some of that thermal energy from its own collapse. So with Jupiter, we mostly see it because it's reflecting sunlight, but even if you removed the sun, we'd still be able to see Jupiter's hot red glow. By red, I mean infrared, so we're not seeing it with our eyeballs, although there are some snakes out there that see in the infrared, and they could see Jupiter with their eyeballs in the case of no sun, in which case they'd be dead anyways. But space snakes on a spacecraft, they might be able to see it. So you gave me a chance to say snakes on a spacecraft. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to grab all of my code for shading this planet, which conveniently I was smart enough to comment before because I like myself sometimes. And now I'm going to move all of this down into a routine. Now, initially, I'm not going to call that routine. Yeah, Del, the fact that snakes can see slightly into the infrared is both disturbing and awesome. It's how they go hunting for mice on cold leaves. Mice are little radiators as far as snakes are concerned, and they glow happily in the infrared. So many snakes, including rattlesnakes, are nocturnal, and with their infrared vision, they essentially have built-in night vision goggles. It's a bit terrifying and awesome. Now, at the same time, a lot of bugs are able to see into the ultraviolet. And so if you have the capacity to take ultraviolet pictures of, well, bugs and flowers and other things that bugs like, we end up seeing things that look dramatically more interesting in the ultraviolet than they ever look in human vision. Okay, so I now have an unshaded planet. Now, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start by working on the dark shading for when the planet goes in front of the star. So it should start out dark on the left side, and then I have to think way too hard about this. So it starts out over here, and then as it moves forward, the darkness sweeps across. Let's see what I can do to make this into a reality. So, oops, too high. There we go. Let's look at the code. And I'm going to work. Sorry, I double clicked. I'm going to work on increasing the size of this window just a little bit. So the animation is trapped at the top, but I have a little bit more space to work within. And I'm going to make sure I can't type off the bottom of the screen. There we go. Okay. So Stingray is a nebula. It's a planetary nebula. Is that what you're asking about? Or are you talking about the fish stingray? Stingrays are fish. Yes, they may be able to detect electromagnetism. There are many kinds of fish that can detect magnetic fields. Not my field, so all I know is there are fish that have this capacity, which is awesome, and I don't know which fish they are, but they're fish. Okay, so shading of the planet. I have my planetary diameter. I have my colors. I'm going to do the dark part first, so I'm just going to comment this out. What can I say? I'm in a dark side kind of mood. So here we go. If I turn on just this part, we should see the left side of the planet start out dark. So let's make sure that we have it working first. And I always want to draw the shading on top of the planet. So shade planet is what I named this. Okay, so I have to tell it where the sun is. And this is going to be a function of step, but for now, I'm just going to put a 0.0 in there as a placeholder. All I want to do is make sure it works. Once I make sure it works, then I can work on everything else. So Java is one of those languages that wants your ints to be ints and your floats to be floats. And it will yell at you if you don't do things correctly. I like ramen. I actually found some truly amazing ramen on Amazon. Go figure. And it's way cheaper than what's in the grocery store. I have variables that I declared somewhere that my thingy can't see. Where are you being sad? Okay, so del G cannot be resolved into a variable. This is because I commented out too much. Okay, let's try that. Hey, Drop Bear. Okay, so I have the dark side on, sort of. Doesn't look great. Yes, ramen are super cheap, and they're even cheaper when you buy them by the like 36 pack on Amazon. Yes, I am a PhD having an adult that still orders ramen. Okay. So I kind of have the dark side of my planet going. It's not as dark as I'd like. I'm going to darken my dark part of my planet. It's a thing. Um, okay. I want this to get darker. So starting color. I need a color picker to do this. Now, one of the neat things that I've found on the internets is Phil Plait did stellar colors in HTML in hex on Slate. And one of the things I love to do is to pull up his thing of colors and use them as starting points. So I have these starting points for colors in Phil's article. Now, what I used as my stars color, as my planets colors, is 255, 215, 174. So 255, 215, 174, it corresponds to the temperature of a K4 type star. The little planet in the simulation I've been doing is heated up so hot by the star that it's orbiting that on the outside, not the inside, it's cooler on the inside. On the outside, it has the same exterior temperature as this particular kind of star. Now, what I want to do is find a darker color that is complementary to that I can use for even cooler. Now, what I can do is just take actual temperature colors, which is what I did here. I went as cold as our gradient goes, and I think I actually want to go colder than that, which means I am no longer in star temperatures, and I need to pull up a handy dandy guide to colors. The one I found isn't entirely useful, so I'm going to try and find another one actually. It's amazing how easy it is to click on something and find that it absolutely doesn't match what you're looking for. Once upon a time on the internet, it was easy to find things of hex color codes. I just want oranges, people. I just want oranges. You're not giving me oranges. Okay, let's try. I think I found one that's useful. So what I'm going to do, and I'm over on W3C Schools, which is one of the most amazing websites. I'm going to start out with, actually, I'm going to enter a color. I'm going to enter the color of our star. So the FFBB7b. And, aha, it gave me all the shades, all of the shades. So now I have to convert this into hex. So what I want is, I think I'm going to go as dark as this color here. Now this is not true thermodynamics. I'm literally just getting darker as I do this. But it's good enough for this animation. So I'm taking a darker value, so less luminous, of my coldest temperature. So something that's theoretically the same temperature, less luminosity on a black background, and making an RGB version, and then I'm going to shadow my planet with it. This is the not so fun part that goes into, I just want RGB values, there we go, that goes into trying to do animations. Alrighty, so my starting color for my gradient, this is the darkest color, is 153, 74, 0. And except I forgot that I'm sticking to the 255 for the first color because I wasn't changing that. Dang it, dang it. No fun, no fun at all. I'm going to go to a different color tool. So Cooler by Adobe is someplace that lets you play with color mixing online quite easily. So what I want is a color that has as its first value 255 and that is a darker color than the 187, 123 that we're using right now. So I want to take this color here, not change my 255 if I can get away with it. And so that's my 255. So let's see what we can do to make this whole thing darker. Nope, all of that changes my 255. Ooh, so, aha, I am finding colors that I can use. So what I want is to just get darker. I really want to change the black so that it really is shadowed. I mean, I'd love to go to this color here. So I'm just going to have to make another variable, and I'm not going to like it, and that's okay. Another variable, here I come. Float change in R is equal to, I'm just going to declare the float. I will sort all of that later. So coming down here, I'm now going to calculate my changes in my R color. So let's go back to that gradient color I'd picked out before that I liked. And use it. So the color I like is 153, 74, 0. Now, the way that I'm doing this is I need to find out how much each color has to change as the gradient transitions from the planet color to the darkest shade of brown. And when I do this right, then it will have a perfectly smooth gradation in the colors. Yeah, color choice is so difficult. Oh, I might have changed it to floor instead of float. Why, yes, I did. Thank you so much for catching that. That would not have compiled. Thank you. I do stupid things sometimes. Okay, so to get my colors correct, I want to go from 215 to 74. I want to go from 174 to 0, and these all need to be floats if I like myself. Otherwise, it will yell at me. And then the other color I need is my 255 minus 153. Okay, so now I have the drawing of the color. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm just defining my colors. My starting color is 255, and I'm going to be subtracting from that the amount that the R has to change each time, multiplied by the number of steps. So if I did all that right, which is a huge if, aha, I have a much darker continual graduation of color across my world. I think I kind of rocked that. Now I just have to make it move. The move is the hard part. What is SIP memory? I do not know what this is. Scrolling up through chat. If you at me, I will see anything. It may have deck to hex conversion, but my brain didn't remember to think of that. I had a moment of stupid. I'm past my moment of stupid. I actually, because I'm doing the math between it, it does have to be an RGB, and since I used a hex color picker, I was kind of stuck. Oh man, I'd forgotten about that kind of memory. Yeah. I remember my first computer, it was an old Apple, and when it stopped working, you had to turn it off and like pull out the cards, which required like wiggle, wiggle, yank, and then put them back in a straight line, just right. And occasionally, if you didn't have a good connection, you just lick them, which is not a solution for anything nowadays, by the way. The good old days were something very different. All right, back to planets and stars. So what I want now is my darkness needs to go back and forth. Now what this means is as the planet steps across, I don't need sun angle, I just need my step number. Who am I lying to? I'm just going to go with step like I'm doing with everything else in this code. I'm overcomplicating things. At some point, I will turn that into a variable. I'm not going to turn it into a variable right now because my brain will reject it. So I have two sides to my shadow. One is the left side, one is the right side, and they define. So, okay, trying to figure out how to explain this. If I can't explain this to you, I can't code it. I need to go from a illuminated on the left to completely brown to illuminated on the right, which tells me that I need one of these things that goes from left to right, one that goes from right to left, and limits on when each of them occur. So I'm going to work on getting the one that goes right to left happening, and try and make an entirely brown planet. It's not exciting, but it's a thing. So let's try and make the thing. So here is my thing, and what I'm going to try and do is reverse which angles. I just forgot what angle I deleted. Pi over 2. I'm going to try and have it draw the other way around. Now, there is a chance that this code, being the way it is going to simply go, no, I won't do that. So my goal is just to shade the opposite side of the planet right now. No, that failed. It's not quite an inversion because I have two different sides to it. It's close. It's very close. Also, the way you draw the shading is a whole bunch of different arcs, and I have to consider the radius of the arc. So it's slightly more complicated. We're going to get there, just in baby steps. Okay, continuing on. I feel like I'm talking into the ether today. I don't think I've ever seen such a quiet chat. There's theoretically 15 of you out there. All right. Let's see if I can figure out why this didn't work. So apparently it really, really likes to go from lower numbers to higher numbers. So I'm going to try the code that I used before. Oh, is everyone watching E3 right? Well, I think my code's probably, not my code, my My crowd's probably a little bit different. I think part of it is I didn't tweet this evening. And yeah, it's totally a meh kind of day. Okay, so I have the other side now done. So I have two halves. If I turn these both on, I will have a brown planet that is slightly beige in the center. Thank you for lurking. I like lurkers. I'm usually a lurker myself, which is why I get it. I very rarely chat unless like I want the person to know that I'm there to prevent them from saying something that they might be embarrassed to know I was there. You didn't mansplain, you artist-splained. I got it, Noel. It was fine. This is your bread and butter. I'm just doing a simple version of it. All right, so I now have my weirdly striped world. It's weirdly striped because the gradation tapers off in the center. That didn't work as intended. Okay. Okay, that's not creepy at all, Paranor. Not creepy at all. Okay, wow. So when the planet is in front of the star, I want it to be completely brown in a solid brown kind of way. So I'm going to start by trying to figure out how to make it go crescent. And then I'll figure out how to make it go solid, because that's apparently just not going as well as I would like. All right. So what I need is to figure out how to make how much of the planet it's doing. So where's my n getting defined? What is n? N is the planet's diameter. So here I'm stepping over that's actually the planet's radius, maybe? No, height is diameter. And then I'm very confused. Oh, that's going from 0. There's got to be a more logical way to do this. I did something very strange at some point in the past and did not comment what I was doing. So clearly at that moment in time, I didn't love myself. Okay. So what I have here is planet diameter minus planet diameter plus I. That doesn't even make any sense. So let's just say I, which goes I less than planet diameter, and see what happens. Okay, I have a light beige. I seem to have somehow lost my color. How did I do that? I didn't change my color. I know, Drop Bear. I screwed up and now I am so totally confused. It's not even funny. I'm going to pull up the documentation for Planet Arc just to make sure I understand my own code that I didn't comment correctly. I hate myself right now. As I can tell, I hated myself when I wrote this code because I did not comment it. Alrighty. So what I'm doing is I'm drawing a arc And as I draw the arc, it is transitioning in color from my darkest shade of brown to the color of the planet. I am drawing, so basically the way I'm gradiating my planet is I'm drawing ever smaller arcs towards the center. Now, ideally, the innermost of these is just a straight vertical line. I'm going to try and prove that to myself with a very green line, just to make sure I understand what's going on. So I'm changing my line color to green because Fenmil, who does not appear to be here, really likes green. And then I'm going to do an arc that is at, I'm just going to copy and paste. So if I'm doing this correctly, I want an arc that is not the help code I wanted. I'm going to do an arc that is of an oval. So I want the planet's X size to be 0. Is that how this works? I think this is how this works. It's Y to be planet. No, that's its position for the center. I'm sorry, I'm being confused. I didn't document my code. Aha, there's my problem. I want to go from 0 to planet diameter in the Y direction. So this should be a straight line through the center, I think. I don't know. Yes, there is a green line through the center, so I figured out how my code is working. All right, let's document the bejesus out of that particular line of code. Bill's pin on Astro grenade. So green is like the one color that in stars we absolutely can't see, but it's gorgeous in nebula. It's fun. Why is that an Astro grenade? Some shades of green are less soothing than others, Paranor. There are bad shades of green. So arc is center X, center Y, then it's the width, height, start angle, stop angle. Okay, so I now know what that line actually means. So now I have my X, I have my center point. I want it to always be the height is going to be always planet diameter, and I want to vary how wide it is. I want it to start out at planet diameter. So draw the biggest first, but divided by 2, because diameter. And now minus I don't know if I did that right, because if I is also the planet diameter. No, let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens. Hello, Heptacular Raptor. I'm screwing things up. I'm being very confused and screwing things up. Okay. I just want to draw an arc that's brown. Okay. So I want to start at the edge, go towards the center, which is 0. So let's try planet diameter minus I. Will that work? Yes, but that's dark brown in the center of my star. Oh, that flashed oddly at the end. Yeah, that's brown in the center. Okay, so I want to actually go from 0 upwards. Oh man, there's so many things wrong with what I'm doing right now. My brain has simply decided it is done with me for the day. It has left the building. I love pea soup. There's actually a place in California called Solvang that is famous for its Dutch split pea soup. And when I was a little kid, we used to road trip and always stop there to get split pea soup for lunch. And I don't know why it flashed at the end. I think it must need to go to equals. I'm losing my voice. That's really not good. To equals less than or equals to planet diameter. Okay, so now I have planet diameter that's not changing based on the step number. So what I want is to, with the step diameter, I'm going to write this out in a comment. So steps 0 to 100 going brown. That sounds really bad. We're going to go with it. It's accurate. And at 50 should be entirely brown. Now what I don't know how to do is get this to happen in a sensible way. So let's just see if I can get this to increment somewhat. So I'm going to, as a starting point, I'm going to multiply this by step divided by 100, and it should become a crescent. Let's see if this works. I don't know what I just did, but it's interesting. Oh, I did it on the wrong angle. Let's try that again on the correct part of that, and I think I may have figured out one thing. And for my own eyeballs, I need to make this a bit taller because I just can't see it well, and you guys must be struggling as well. So let's embiggen. So Paranor, I'm not allowed to bake things. This was long ago decided. That's not quite working as intended, but is interesting. Okay. I like what you just did, heptacular. And yes, color is spelled with a U. Okay, so let me see if I can make what is going on with this little planet a wee bit more sensible and perhaps less amusing. Oh man, I moved it too high up. Maybe not. So I totally screwed this up, but in the most delightful of ways. Thank you, Skydiver. All right, so I Let's do 1 minus. And I think that might be a little bit better. And then flip it to the other side. I don't know what I just did. So there's no shadow. I don't burn water. I do in general get distracted and forget there's food in the oven, because human beings are far more interesting than food, and thus has many a dessert gone horribly, horribly wrong. Okay, so let me think through this. So I is the width of the oval that I'm doing. I'm drawing half of a circle, and I'm shading it towards the center. But what I actually want here is I don't want to adjust the color. I want to adjust what part of the planet is dark, don't I? I'm going to figure this out without the shading. I think that will make things easier. So pardon me while I step backwards. I tried to do too many different things at once and succeeded in simply failing in the most profound and hopefully amusing to you kinds of ways. So let's get my shade of brown going and try and figure out what parts I'm shading, and then I'll figure out color smoothing. Semicolons matter. I've been programming in Python lately in my brain. I'm gonna have the shadow if I can ever remember all of my characters. Why are you mad at me, code? Oh, I have 2 commas now. You know, I can get behind an emote fight. Okay, so now I have half a brown planet. It's a very exciting half a brown planet. Okay, so emote war with fewer emotes that are more creative, I guess. What can I do here? I want to... It's not doing what I thought it would do. And I am confused. Oh, I told it to shade half the planet all the time. I need to tell it to, as a function of where it is, shade half the planet. Times. So this is initially not going to make any sense. I'm aware that this is initially not going to make any sense. I'm just trying to make sure that this is indeed the variable to vary. Someone has a toilet emote? Wow. Okay, so I'm now varying what part I'm doing, but not in a sensible way. Dang, come back. Wow, it exploded off the side. Wow. Okay, so I see what's happening there. I respect what's happening there. It's just not useful. Yeah, shade half, not shave half. I wish I could do it that easily. This may be one of those times where I'm just like not meant to write any useful code today. There are days when brains are like, no, you can't. We won't let you. Okay. This is where I pause and stare at my code for a moment. I appreciate the alpaca. So what I want, when I'm doing the loop, it's only drawing a single line. It's drawing all those lines over a given width. So what I want to actually do is change the total diameter that's being drawn up here as a function of where it is. So let's try that. I have no idea if this will work. Thank you for gifting Serpent AI a sub-heptacular raptor, and welcome Serpent AI. Didn't know you were lurking. It's still not doing it right. Did I not change my code? Okay. So I seem to be starting. I swore I changed that. So draw the arc from I to planet diameter, where the planet diameter goes from 0 so I apparently want to do this arc the other way. Let's try doing this from planet diameter to fine, I will make that an int. You obstinate code. You are an excellent human being, Heptacular Raptor. So I want to do from the outside inwards, so I'm subtracting every time. And I want to go into, I want to do greater than or equal to step over 100. Let's see if that does it. Oh, apparently that's not a thing. You guys are kind of funny. Why didn't... Oh, I'm forgetting a parenthesis. I minus minus is totally a thing, but you have to have a parenthesis. I was wondering why it was being shouty. It's not changing at all. At all. Okay, that did nothing. I may be a wizard, but I can't code today. My brain is just like, no, you can't code. Forget it. Don't try. Okay, so I'm going to just delete this block of code, and I'm going to figure this out one piece at a time. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an arc. The arc is going to be, let me set my, actually, I'm going to regret deleting all of that code. Putting the code back before deleting all the code. Okay, so I want to start out. I'm going to get rid of this variable n because I have no clue where the heck it came from or why it exists. I'm going to set my stroke color. Yes, Scooty Automon, I'm going to allow that if Paranor hasn't already, because, yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, see, I usually on days that I can't code do budgets, which I don't know what that says about me. But you're all sitting there watching me struggle with this. I just want to do one thing successfully before I give up. Okay, so I have my stroke color. Now, I could have just copied and pasted that line. I'm going to keep my arc line because I want to figure out how to draw just an arc, nothing else, the way I want to. So currently, it should draw a line straight up and down. This is my goal, to draw a line straight up and down. It did. So I have a line straight up and down. It is an orbiting lollipop, and it's rotating. Okay, so now I'm going to get this line to move by changing I'm so sorry that you can't see it. Let me increase my stroke thickness. That again sounds really, really dirty. References. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to adjust that variable. Stroke weight, that's how I do it. Okay, let's see if we have a line. There. Okay, that should be a line anyone can see. I now have Pan. May the mighty ravioli rotate. Okay, so there's Pan and the mighty ravioli. You know, I think I have lived on Strictly Coffee a little bit too much. I need to build some playlists with stuff like that, Drop Bear. Okay, so I have a planet. I now want to get my planet to actually, like my curve to actually move. So I'm going to have it go planet diameter times step over 100. Let's see if that works. So now I should have an arc that just goes back and forth. It's going that way. And perfect. So I have an arc that moves right. It's now going to do insane as it goes the other direction. It's going to come out like totally swagged over to the left. No, swagged over to the right. Now jump. Okay, so what I need is for that to start all the way to the left and then migrate all the way to the right. So I have to do this in an if statement. So if step less than 100, let's do less than or equal to 100, then do all that stuff. Now I want to start out all the way over to the left, and this is where it was a different set of angles. I'm going to keep this line because I'm going to want it in a moment. I'm going to copy it and then do my pi over 2 starting coordinate. Okay, so this should migrate in the opposite orientation. Okay, so now we're getting closer. We are getting closer. We're not there, but we're getting closer. Keeper of emotes. Okay, you guys are awesome. So what I actually want to do is go for steps to 50. So I'm going to have to break this down even more. So while the steps are less than or equal to 50, I want to go 1 minus. Okay, let's see if this works. I feel like it will be a miracle if it does. So it should stop when it's a straight line in the center. It didn't quite get to a straight line in the center. Because I have to multiply by 2. That's what I have to do. Okay, we're getting there. My brain has finally figured out what it's going to do. Let me add in the else if part. Whoa, can't type. Else if I should do this as a case statement. I know I should do this as no, actually I shouldn't do this as a case statement. I'm sure there is a better way to do this than what I'm doing. I don't care. I just want this to work right now. Well, step less than equal to 100. I'm going to take what I just did, and I don't need to be setting non-changing variables inside an if statement, so I'm going to move those out. I'm going to line my code up as a sign of showing that I might possibly, maybe, occasionally like my future self. So I now want this line so here I want to start with straight up and down. So I want to start with 0. And then so it is 0, and it's going to go to the planet diameters where it ends up. So it's 0 when we have 2 times the step. That doesn't work. I want it to be 0 in the center. I can just do all of this as cosine. Why am I doing it like this? Excuse me for a moment. It goes, I don't know if my -1 here will work. We're going to try something. It may barf profoundly, but we're going to try something. I need another parenthesis, or I know it won't work. So as a reminder, let's see what the code's currently doing. I've heard of the book. I haven't read it yet. I feel... So I'm an observational astronomer, so part of me is just very curmudgeonly with theorists in general. So I have a feeling that I'd agree with the book rather profoundly. We lack the imagination to actually figure out what the universe is going to throw at us most of the time. But we spend a whole lot of time pretending that we're imaginative enough to figure it out. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm still staring. I'm trying to figure out where to stick a cosine function into this. So what I want is, let's do cosine of, that was not the button I meant to press. cosine of, let's do 2 pi times step over step over 50. Actually, I want to go from pi. So that will, this is a sine function. This is going from, no, it's a cosine function. As I said, some days my brain just doesn't show up. Aha, nope. Okay, we're getting closer. Go, 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 go. Okay, so now let's try and expand our function and see what happens when we expand our function out to 100 steps. It disappears. Not sure why it disappeared. Something went negative and it didn't cope. Okay, so we do from 0 to 50. Now we do else if step less than equal to 100, put in parentheses and brackets, or it will hunt you down and draw red lines under you. So here we go with this. I now need to go from 0, which is a sine function. So let's take our arc thing here. And I want to draw the other half. So I need my other part of the circle. And this needs to be a sine function. I still may need to do more maths on this. Oh, what did I not do? Else if unexpected token. But what do you mean unexpected token? Is else if not a thing? Aha, it is 2 words in this language. Go, 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 little line. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You can do it. You did not do it. You did it backwards. Okay. Okay, that did not work as intended. And I know if I do this as a cosine, it's not going to work. It's just going to disappear. Yeah, so that makes it disappear. Okay, so it's going to force me to think. So at what I want now is sine of step minus 50. Let's see if that works. Aha! I got it. It's blinking, but I got it. Okay, I figured it out. I hate everything. You didn't see it because I forgot to move my animation. My brain has died. But I have a line. I have a line that moves. Oh, Skydiver, Idaho. Yeah, I know. It's blinking in the center. I have an equal sign somewhere that I shouldn't. Um, Let me get rid of that one. I don't think we're blinking too. I think I just have a discontinuity somewhere. There, I fixed it. I fixed my discontinuity. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere slowly, very slowly. Um, since I have no brain and I accomplished one thing, and sometimes all you need to do is accomplish one thing. I don't know what equal leak emote means, but it amuses me. We are not blinking too. And that was proper use of coyote emoji. I'm sorry, Drop Bear. That sounds horrible. So, one thing. Sometimes all you have to do is just one thing, and you call it good. And I keep forgetting to move the animation so that you can see it. Thank you for subscribing, Skydiver. That is excellent. Thank you. So let me go ahead and thank all you wonderful people. So I want to thank Uncle Bill for the host over. I want to thank Heptacular Raptor for the gift subs that he gave to Serpent AI, and Paranor. This is Paranor's second month subscribed. Thank you guys. And thank you Skydiver Idaho for the sub. You guys are all fabulous. And I want to say thank you to all of you who have come this evening. Oh man, I didn't know OSU wasn't doing podcasts anymore. I'm glad that we were able to fill that hole for you. We will be here on CosmoQuest all summer long when both Astronomy Cast and the Weekly Space Hangout go in to summer hiatus. And let me switch over which screen I'm on. There we go. So I'm going to be here all summer long. Hopefully I will bring my brain more than I did this evening. And thank you guys all for your patience tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm going to keep going with this animation until it is done. I want to be able to show something for... I just want to finish it. That's all. Sometimes you have to finish things. Remember, you don't have to finish meals you don't like, and you don't have to finish books you don't like. Those are two things that I think many of us had beaten into us as children. So, CosmoQuest, we do a lot of different things over on this channel. Those of you who haven't checked us out before, Monday through Friday, I am here at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. if you're over in Europe, in London. Later as you move east. And with the Daily Space, I bring you a fast-paced update of everything that is new in astronomy and space science. Tomorrow, following the Daily Space, starting at 1:30 Eastern, you can do the rest of the unit conversions yourself. Just come for the Daily Space. Stay. Right afterwards, Dr. Matt Richardson is going to be doing a Astro 101 class with his sidekick, student, minion, I don't know what the correct word is, with Big J, who is one of our team programmers and a constant here on Twitch. So Thursday, we're going to follow up the Daily Space with our... thank you so much for the subscription, Del. Thank you for gifting it, Heptacular Raptor. Thank you. Thursday, we're going to have Learning Space. And Learning Space is a Patreon-supported project that we do. Check out patreon.com/learningspace. I love all of the emojis, Heptacular Raptor. With Learning Space, we work to, well, interview the people who work to bring you science and find out what is the stories of how they got to where they are. We're going to have Nancy Atkinson on the show. She has been working with us back since 2008, and she went from someone, well, going from being a librarian to now being someone who writes books and asks questions during NASA press conferences. So join us Thursday after the Daily Space for our interview with Nancy Atkinson. And Friday, we're going to have Astro 101 with Matt Richardson again. And Friday afternoon over on YouTube, Fraser Kane and I will be bringing you Astronomy Cast. We only have a few more episodes left this season, and then we go on hiatus. But when we come back in September, it's going to be our 12th season. And in addition to being our 12th season, we're going to be doing our 500th episode in September. On September 15, 16, we invite all of you to come to Edwardsville, Illinois. There's low-cost hotels. There's there may be I just totally forgot the name of the thing where you like rent Airbnbs. There's some Airbnbs. We're going to, on Saturday, rent a brew pub. On Sunday, we're renting a local theater. And we invite you to come join us and science with us and raise a glass to the 500th episode. And I hope that I'll see some of you, all of you there. You can sign up. There is a registration fee to cover the building rentals, and anything over the building rentals gets turned into food, and airplane tickets for Fraser to come out from Canada. So please come out and join us for our 500th episode. All the details are at astronomycast.com. Just click on the tab for trips. So I'm so glad that you're here, and I am going to attempt to raid you guys over to a different show. So be prepared for a wild and wacky journey through the intertubes. I don't know if I'm going to do this right, but we'll know in a moment. I'll see you all next time. Remember, wherever you are, have a wonderful morning, evening, and afternoon. And sometimes just look up. Bye-bye.